Hi everybody, Scott Frankowski here, Head West Photos. I'm back with Carmel Heydarian. We are back for episode 2 in our series working with a UX, a user experience professional who is helping me design a fantastic website to showcase my landscape photography and maybe sell a print or two. So in our last episode, we just kind of went over, we're brainstorming some ideas, and now Carmel has written out, I don't know if you consider this a paper wireframe of the website. Getting close to it.
Yeah, we're getting close. He's right.
Ideas onto paper. So we're going to look at what she's come up with. And then in the next episode, I think we'll probably have something on a computer screen, a kind of mock-up of the site. So what I've done since the last video, I went to squarespace.com, not sponsored at all. If you want to sponsor me,
yeah, please.
throw money at me. That's cool. But what I did, I went there and I bought the domain name headwestphotos.com for $20 a year, and then I bought their business plan that includes like the ability to do transactions, 0% transaction fee, which is really good. And that ran me, I think the first month was 20% off, and then $30 a month after that. So the first month was like, I don't know, $24 or something like that. So that's what I did in the meantime. So that's ready to go, and I think we'll be able to take what Carmel designs on the program she's using called Figma, that you can design these wireframes, these mock-ups of these websites. We're going to take that design, and then we'll be able to implement that within the Squarespace platform. So with all that said, I'll let Carmel explain what she's been up to.
Thanks, Scott. Okay, so last time we talked, you guys remember that we talked about the 5 elements of user experience. Those were the strategy, which is like why he's building this website, which we talked about. He wants to showcase his photography, so it's going to act as a portfolio. And he also wants to, there was a secondary goal, be able to sell prints if people like them enough. Or, I mean, of course they're gonna like them, but if they want to, they can buy them from there. So those were our 2 main goals. And then after that, we talked about the scope. So what kind of information is gonna be present on the website? So he's a photographer, we're showcasing a lot of photos, we're gonna see photos. And then the other information that we might be showcasing as well is just some tiny bits of text, just descriptive text. So those are the 2 main types of content we're gonna see. And then we're talking structure. So we barely talked about structure last video, but structure is how we're gonna organize the website. So just thinking about like what pages are gonna be there, what elements are gonna be there. And then the skeleton is the wireframes. So that's kind of like low fidelity stuff. So you'll see a lot of like where we think things should go, where images will go. And then after that will be the surface, which is like the finished, it's gonna be like the beautiful product that looks like a website. And then from there, Scott and I can use that and implement on Squarespace. Okay, so with that said, turn the page. So I have this list here on the right of the image, and I have it on my phone too, so I don't have to touch it there. And so what I did last time was I started with a competitors analysis. So I went ahead and looked at a bunch of portfolios, like photography portfolios, to get an idea of like what the conventions are for that, which is I love that strategy. I love doing competitors analyses. So from there, I made a list of navigation items, which are basically the pages you'll see on the website. So I was like, okay, obviously we'll need a home. Scott and I talked about, I have gallery and prints there. We talked about how we want to combine that into one thing. We called it gallery. And then we were talking about tutorials. He's like, yeah, maybe, if you remember from last video, we were like, yeah, maybe that would be interesting. So we're considering to put a link to his YouTube to this. And then we talked about testimonials last time, if you guys remember in the last video. He said maybe in the future when he has more, we'll include that. And then at the end, you'll see that we also combine the About Me and Contact Me page into one page. So yeah, so then you can see like the first draft I have on the left there. And you'll see like the standard stuff. We have the logo, we have the navigation. We also have a banner there. This was my initial thought. We could have a rotating banner. And then we would have like the photos under that. Scott kind of liked this idea, but he told me that didn't really want to.
Yeah, I just don't want an endlessly scrolling. I see a lot of websites where it's like it keeps on like loading a new part, and you can never get to the bottom. I kind of want everything on there, so it's like all on one screen, or just like barely scroll to get to the bottom of the page.
Yeah. So with that, we ended up coming up with another draft for the homepage, and you can see that there. It's actually much smaller, compressed. So he just wants like the photos and people can go through them. And then when we were both designing this, Scott actually gave the suggestion to put a button to the gallery right under it, because remember, that's one of our main purposes for being on the site. People want to see the photos. So it's really nice, like he was saying when we consulted at the time, to have a button there, because then they don't have to go to the nav. They can just be like, there's a button conveniently there to take me to the photos, right? And then also on that page, we have another draft, and that's of the gallery page. And so we're going to be using a different photo for the banner here, because it's going to be good. It's going to represent a new page if it's a different photo from the homepage one. So that's like really important, because it shows it's a new page, and it's going to showcase more of his work that way as well. So we decided on these kind of components underneath the banner, and they'll act as the collections. So this will be like the different photography collections he has. So for example, we talked about this last time. He's got desert photos.
Some desert photos, some photos in the mountains in New Mexico, some astrophotography, just a bunch of different collections that'll appear. So there'll be a thumbnail. When you get to the gallery page, the collections, we'll each have a thumbnail that kind of has a thumbnail that slow dissolves into different pictures within each collection. Is kind of the idea there.
We have that note. That was like one of the notes that he gave to me. And these were some alternatives we discussed, just to have a static photo or a collage of photos. But again, he ended up thinking that the dissolve is going to be really neat, which I also like as well. Subtle animation. So then we have like our next page here. So that's like when you click one of the collections, you'll be taken to this collections page. So I have like the desert one as an example. And we talked about like alternatives here. So I was like, do you want, so he's going to have another banner image, and it's going to be one that represents the desert collection. So that's going to be good. Again, another subtle nod to a different page, changing pages. So that's good. And then he also wanted, or we talked about that we wanted to put like his other photos from the collection under it. And then we're thinking maybe a button under it for prints. Not sure. Like it's kind of, I think we talked about this. You're kind of like, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll figure out where. So obviously we want to give people the option to buy stuff, spend money if they want to spend money. I have to pay for this website and everything. But I don't know exactly how to implement that yet. But I think we'll just try a few things and see what the Squarespace platform will allow us to do as well. So that's kind of like set aside for the moment.
Yeah. So then Scott and I discussed how do we want these images to enlarge. So we were saying that, okay, if they click, so when the user clicks one of the images from the collection, it will pop up in this kind of like pop-up that's not going to be a separate window, just like on the same window. The background is going to be faded out. Yeah, that was like what we had talked about.
Yeah. So it dims the background, and then the photo comes up like a good-looking, high-res, decent photo. I guess not too high-res, so they can't burn it out themselves. But
not too high-res. So yeah, and then here you see an alternative that I had suggested, but we ended up deciding on this one. Okay, and then so we have, we're gonna look at this page right now. So that is like when they open the picture, they have the option to buy the print, and then when they click buy the print, they'll have like another option, like window that opens up. Well, not a separate window, but like part of the pop-up transition. And it's gonna show people the different sizes of photos available and the different prices associated with each size. With each size. And then from there, they'll be taken to the store where they can purchase. And then over here, we just see a pretty standard About Me page. It's going to feature a photo of him, a blurb about him, and then also his contact information and social media links. And then, so here is my site plan that I made after writing down the initial like navigation windows, if you guys, or navigation pages. So yeah, this was what came from that. And site plans are good because they help you like, you know, plan out like how many pages you're gonna need and what's gonna be within each page. So this was great because when I showed it to Scott, he was like, well, we don't have to draft, you know, like a shop, which was great for me. I'm like, okay, thank God we don't have to worry about making a cart. So yeah, so the site plan just reflects the navigation pages that we had talked about earlier. So yeah, and just some notes there as well. And that is all that we have for this, that's all that I had for this segment. And next time we meet, you guys will get to see that structure or that skeleton a little bit more. It's gonna be digital skeleton now. And then also we'll have high fidelity mock-ups by then. So you're gonna see the mock-ups. You're also gonna see the skeleton. And yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Carmel. I'll
Thanks,
put
Scott.
a link to her Twitter in the description. She is looking for a job. So she is a user experience professional with a master's degree from Arizona State University in graphic information technology.
Yeah.
So
Thanks, Scott.
she knows what she's doing. She's gonna make my site look great. On our next video, we'll look at what she is doing in the computer. So taking all this on paper and actually putting it to see a mock-up of it.
Yep, on Figma.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, Scott.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. Subscribe and like the video and stay tuned. Bye, everybody.
Bye.